It's time for Howlers and Growlers. A weekly show from our Arizona Coyotes writing pack, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, prospects, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from draft day to the trade deadline, our team covers everything ice hockey in the hot desert. So sit back, grab your favorite cold beverage, and get ready for Howlers and Growlers.
Welcome to Howlers and Growlers. I'm your host, Haynes Evans, and we are thrilled to have you join us for episode 5 tonight. Absent tonight is my Coyotes line mate and colleague at the Hockey Writers, Pat Brown, who is out of town this week, and we are certainly missing him. Don't worry, Pat, I will make you proud this week, I promise. Joining us for today's show are some familiar faces to me, two-force hosts of the Chirpin Yotes podcast, and my good friends, Alex Grandy and Tyler. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. How are y'all doing tonight?
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Doing pretty well. Excited to talk some hockey with the boys tonight.
Oh, I am just as excited as you guys are. All right. Well, thanks again for being here, guys. You're really saving me right now. So we have a lot to talk about. But first, in the spirit of the show, we need to start off with our beverage of choice for our happy hour. I'll plug my drink first. I am drinking, I threw the can away. Nope, it's back there. I have a Blake's Hard Cider. It is a triple jam, raspberry, blueberry, and strawberry cider. It is delicious. Grandy, what about you? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Leinenklugel Summer Shandy. My last one of the season. Been saving it for a special occasion. Figure this one works.
There you go. What about you, Tyler?
I have a on the grind Jaws Red Bull blended drink. I was up late, waxed my car this morning, ran errands all day, so I needed a boost. So I went ahead with the sponsor there on the grind.
Perfect. Great. Now let's talk some Coyotes hockey, guys. So as we know, the Coyotes are through 3 games so far this season and are an abysmal 0-2-1, which is not a shocker. With their next game, as we know, tomorrow night against the Oilers, who are out without Mike Smith, but still bring in McDavid and Draisaitl. What are y'all's thoughts so far on the team's start, and are y'all kind of surprised in any way by the first 3 games, or is this kind of something we expected? I'll let Tyler, you can go first here.
Honestly, it's been perfectly designed by our GM. I hate to say it. It's painful to watch, but I know that he crafted this master plan, and it's working a little too well. I wish we would do just a little better to not hurt as much, but I know it's hopefully worth it in the end.
Yeah, nope, I agree with you there. What about you, Grandy?
Yeah, it's maybe started a little bit worse than I expected. I know this is going to be a rough season. I know it's going to be a long season. Would like to see a little bit more competitive losses than what we've had so far. Mm-hmm. But I can't really say there's been much that's really surprised me other than maybe the play of Vejmelka. That's really about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, Grandy. I think I expected us to start off this way. I didn't expect us to start off as badly as we have. I mean, we've been outscored 17-7 in 3 games so far, with 15 of those goals being, I'm pretty sure, Hutton allowing, and 2 of those 14 being Hutton and 3 being Karel Vejmelka, which is honestly a very concerning sign. But at the same time, going from that, I'm not surprised where the team is sitting right now. I mean, we expected this team to be as bad as they are. Did I expect them to get blown out in 2 of the 3 games so far? No, I expected a closer game, as did I know you guys did as well. We expected a closer game against Columbus, and it didn't happen. And, they had a bounce-back game against Buffalo, even though they were heavily dominated, I would say, by Buffalo. Buffalo moved that puck so well, and Arizona hardly could get anything going. And if it wasn't for Vejmelka, that could have been out of the hand game too. And then St. Louis, a great start, a terrible second period where the guys just seemed to let off the gas. And by the third period, they couldn't get back going, even with some momentum rolling. But I would say that, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't say I'm really shocked. I would say I would expect a little bit more competitiveness, but I wouldn't say I'm really surprised by where the team is at right now through 3 games. But let's go ahead and transition now, guys, to the topic of players who've impressed us the most so far. And I want to give a quick shout out to Karel Vejmelka. Pat actually had mentioned him back in episode 1, and he just recently actually put out an article out on Vejmelka, which I encourage everyone to read. Pat is an amazing writer. And yeah, I mean, Vejmelka has been definitely one of the bright spots of the team this year, without a doubt. But who else would you guys say has impressed you this year? And what are your initial thoughts on Vejmelka? I'll start with you, Grandy.
Vejmelka's been a guy I've really enjoyed watching since the rookie tournament. I've been keeping my eye on him through that process in the preseason, so I was really happy he got the job over Kozhinash. But for Coyotes that are impressing me the most right now, he may not have the stats to back it up right now, but Lawson Crouse has been an absolute beast out there. He seems to be hitting everything that moves. He's getting 2-3 good chances a game. Mm-hmm. Him and Keller are really clicking. I am loving what I see from Lawson Crouse right now, and I think bodes well going forward.
I agree. I think Crouse and Keller have been a real bright spot up there. What do you think, Tyler? Are you kind of on the same page with Grandy, or you lean towards a different direction?
Oh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I've been working the same time and closing a lot of work lately, so I've only been able to hear glimpses and passes. But yeah, it's also Keller. Definitely Keller. I'm almost afraid that he'll end up trading him. I really don't want us to, but I understand it's for the greater good. But that's my only worry.
Yeah, no, and I have seen actually an article about that recently about what happens if Clayton Keller has a bounce back season. Is he a guy that's going to be moved this offseason? And a lot of Coyotes fans we've talked about on the podcast are not the biggest fan of Lawson Crouse. Grandy, you and me in particular have gone to battle defending the honor of Clayton Keller and the reason on why so many Coyotes fans are so negative towards him. And, I think Keller this year is once again taking another role. He's really embracing being that big leader on the team this year more than he was last year. And, I think he's really impressed. I mean, he's been good. His shot looks good. He's making smart plays. He doesn't turn the puck over nearly as much as he was in his third season in NHL. And Lawson Crouse has looked real good. I mean, we're talking about a guy who last year shot an abysmal 5.7%. That was on, I think, 70 shots. I think he shot that last year. I mean, this is a guy last year who could not catch a break. I mean, literally could not catch a break. I mean, we're talking a guy who hit the post, had a chance to score, would get tripped up, would lose the puck off his stick. Guy could not catch a break last year. And, he responded really well this year. He had a really, really good start to the preseason, and he looked really dominant, and he was shooting more, and he was moving the puck better, and him and Keller were developing that line chemistry, and everything seemed to be clicking for this team. And they looked really dominant in the preseason. And, Crouse hasn't scored yet in the regular season, but man, has he looked good on that first line when he's working on that second line with Keller. He is smart. He's a big body guy. We've seen the hits that he's delivered. He can move that puck around the ice like it's no problem. He's making smart decisions, making smart passes. He's had a couple chances. I think it's only really a matter of time before he kind of gets going. I think I don't know if Edmonton's the next game where he's going to score, if he's going to score tomorrow, but I could see him easily being at least a goal in the next game or two. So, I would say, yeah, Keller and Crouse really kind of stand out for you. And Vejmelka, just one quick thing on Vejmelka. I mean, you can't say enough about Vejmelka. I mean, Hutton is a nice guy. I've heard him talk before. I've, seen interviews from him before. He's a really nice guy who really is wanting to try his hardest here. He's not trying to, play as bad as he can. He really wants to try to revitalize his career in Arizona. And it just doesn't help that his last 3 years as a starter, he's played behind an abysmal team in Buffalo, and now he comes to an abysmal team in Arizona. And do I think there could have been other guys available in his spot come the time we had picked up a goalie? Yes, I think General BA or GMBA could definitely have had picked up someone else. I don't know if going for the 35-year-old and Hutton was your best route, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you want a goalie, and no offense to him, but if you want a goalie that's going to give you the best chance to be a tanking team and probably not win you many games, it's Hutton, as much as I hate to say it. But Vejmelka is amazing. If the Coyotes can sign past this 1-year contract, he can maybe, like you said the other night, Grandy, he can maybe be that 1A kind of transition until Prosvetov ready to come up into the NHL. So, but real quick, guys, let's take a quick time out. Please toss us a like, hit subscribe, be sure to comment, and thanks again for watching. Make sure you check out the other shows on the THW network. We got Saber Scoop, the Hockey Writers, Grind Line, Chicks and Sticks, What's Crackin', Blackhawks Banner, Union Junction, and much, much more, guys. Follow us on Twitter. Shoot us a comment down below, and we make sure that we answer it either in time or we'll bring it up next week on the episode. We're also on iHeartRadio and Spotify, and follow us on Twitter at Howlers THW. Give the guys a follow as well. Grandy009, Chase, who's not here tonight, but Chase Tomlinson, and at Legend of Tyler. And most importantly, guys, give a follow to at Chirpin Yotes pod as well. I do that on Tuesday with these guys. These guys know their hockey. We are a funny group of guys who you don't have to see our faces on Tuesday, so you don't have to worry about seeing us. You just get to hear us talk, and you guys need to check them out. We talk a lot about not just the Coyotes, but we talk about so many issues. We just hit on the whole Carey Price thing, and it's a lot of fun. You guys should definitely check them out. But, guys, I think it's time to bring it home, come down the final stretch, and what better way to come down to the wire than to kind of finish off with a little prediction per se. So, as you guys know, as the viewers at home know, the Coyotes are in full rebuild mode this year, and they're planning to kind of be bomb dwellers for possibly the next 3 to 4 seasons. You know, knowing this, guys, how many points do you think the team realistically finishes with this season? And I'll go with Tyler. I'll go with you first. What do you think the Coyotes realistically finish with, like, point numbers this season?
Oh man, not a lot. I'm gonna go with, I don't know, 60. I
60?
guess I'm gonna just pop it even 60, somewhere in there.
Yeah. What about you, Grandy? I think 60s and is in a reasonable area right there. What do you think, Grandy?
I have it at 32, 46, and 4 for 68 points. So it's a rough season.
Yes.
Getting under 7 points is rough.
Yes.
More optimistic than me.
No, I definitely agree. You guys are a little bit more optimistic, both of me. I think realistically, I think personally, if the Coyotes go over 65 points this year, I think they give themselves not a great chance at getting the first pick. I think over 60, you have quite a bit of teams who could be in that same area. I think the Coyotes would need to go, I'm saying, as bad as it sounds, I really hope it's not this many in 82 games. I'm sure it's like 57 points. What I would say is what the Coyotes would need. Yes, it's tough. I'm saying like 20 wins, probably 25 is the best for this team this season based off what we've seen right now. Trust me, Grandy, I can see your face. It hurts me just as much to say that. It's rough, but let's go off that actually real fast. We have a little bit more time we can talk here. Knowing what we kind of predicted here with points, realistically, what would you say the Coyotes would need to finish record-wise and point-wise? Not what you think at the end of the season, what do you think they would need to finish with realistically if they want those top odds at getting, the number 1 pick in the draft? Grandy, what do you think?
I would say in between 55 and 65, really, somewhere in that range. Just looking at the teams around and how they're producing and how they're starting, there's some rough teams, but the teams that are expected to be rough throughout the season, like the Buffaloes, have started out really well. Do I think that they're going to maintain? No, I don't. I think they're going to join us in the cellar here shortly. But it's, like I said, about 55 to 65. With the projection I had, I think I had this in the second slot. So
I think that's a realistic area there to shoot for. I think anywhere between 55, 65 is probably the target. Real fast before we go to Tyler, Granny, you and me, we've made the joke that we have the 1-2 connection here on the pod. Tyler's made the joke that we have it too. You know, you and me have kind of, bounced back and forth off one another all this season, kind of playing off one another there. And, 55, 65 is in the realistic area time frame. But and we know that the Coyotes start winning. I mean, do you think if the Coyotes were to win the next 7 games, do you think general manager Armstrong would go out and trade possibly a guy or two to try to stop that and try to tank it? Or do you think he's really in that serious of a thought? Or do you think he'd just be like, 7 wins, no big deal, this team might lose the next 4? What do you think kind of Armstrong would go off there?
That's tough to say. If we went on a 7-game winning streak, I would say it would raise some of our vets' values, and I think you would see Kessel for sure start to go. And look at how many assists he already has. The impact that would have had on our already bad offense. Yeah, I think you would start seeing some trades for sure. Like I said, Kessel's one that's obvious to go. I don't think we would trade Vejmelka, but Ghost Bear, there's several names out there that could realistically have some value that could be traded pretty easily. So,
yeah, no, I think that was a great insight. I think that's true. I think definitely. I mean, we're going to see some guys get moved to the deadline. Dzingel could be a guy to get moved to the deadline. I mean, there's a couple guys on 1-year contracts that will probably be gone by the deadline, depending on what they look like this season point wise. Kessel's going to be gone at some point, probably sooner rather than later. Tyler, what do you think though? Knowing what we projected point wise, what we think they will finish, where do you think the Coyotes would realistically need to be point wise, record wise, to give themselves the best shots at the first pick? And not only that, but going off what me and Granny just talked about, if they start winning now, do you think Armstrong will move necessary piece if he needs to make sure he preserves that this team is a tanking team and they lose as much as possible?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think as soon as we start popping off some good wins, and even players, he starts hearing whispers in their GM little groups that, hey, this guy's doing pretty good. I think he's willing to sell for almost anything, hopefully picks or whatever it may be. And just we need a tank. I hate to say it. I don't want to see us lose. I don't want us to be that hockey team. But I think, unfortunately, where we're at, it's time just to suck it up, get some good players in there, and hopefully in a couple of years, build a good foundation and just start really winning then. In 5 years, brand new arena, hopefully, knock on wood, we get something going. I'll appreciate that. When 5 years and we're really good, it's going to make it all worth it. I hope. I believe in the plan. If I drink the Kool-Aid, I'm all in. So whatever he thinks is best, I am 100%. I'm your guy. That's what it needs to be.
I need to drink some of that Kool-Aid there. I'm optimistic about the future, like you. I'm very optimistic that this team in 3, 4, 5 years could be a legit team. And by that point, 3, 4, 5 years, we don't know what the rest of the Central looks like. We could be the top dog, and the Avalanche might not even be a top team anymore in 5 years. But at the same time, I'm optimistic, but I at the same time, I don't know. I've been able to watch every game this season. I don't know how I kept myself. I mean, I am a Blues fan, so I guess I was able to watch the last game because at the same time someone was winning for me. But I got to chuckle out Granny there. But the Columbus game, I was able to stay in there, and I mean, it sucks. I'm gonna watch it honestly. I mean, I watched all the 8-2 beatdowns, 9-1 beatdowns from the Avalanche last year, and it's gonna be even worse with Kemper this season. I mean, it might be 10-0. Let's just be honest with each other. But yeah, I'm buying in. We've all bought in. It's something we all kind of got to do. It's something we all just kind of have to accept. I know fans don't want to. I know that fans, you and me, Granny, talked about earlier, have actually been calling for Andre Tournier to be fired already 3 games into the season for a team that, first off, has been outscored 17-7. Second of all, I mean, they're rebuilding, so it doesn't surprise you to have been outscored by that much. But the fact that fans are trying to find a reason to be upset, I mean, I understand being upset. I'm upset watching them. When they lost 8-2, I mean, losing to the Blues, let them score 5 goals in 5 minutes. I mean, that's just a team that just gave up. And I would like to see them. I've talked about this on this show. I've talked about on the podcast. I want to see this team, whether they're getting the tail lights being out of them almost every night, winning like 1 game out of every 3. I want to at least see them play and try and are in every game. Well, I mean, when you're losing 8-2, you're not competitive in the game. When you're up 2-1, you give up 5 goals in the span of 5 minutes, you're not in the game. And I mean, yes, has Hutton looked bad in both those games when he gave all those goals? Yes. But at the same time, has he also received no defensive help? Yes. We saw the goal by Jordan Kyrou. Shane Gossespear was pulled out of his pants, and then Carl Hutton was pulled out of his pants and out of the crease and was left his jock strap in the roof. I mean, it's sad. I mean, yeah, you're a fan, and this is getting posted everywhere, and we're seeing it. And I mean, but there is the hope that, there's a bright side. We know there's a bright side for the Coyotes fans that are out there that don't think there is and are tired and already upset to losing. I'm sorry, but you just got to understand it's going to be like that for a while. These guys have bought in with me. Chase, I know, is also bought in with us. I mean, Pat's bought in. It's tough, but it's something that's going to happen. It's something we've had to accept for a while now. And, I'll quickly answer the last question here, and then we'll wrap this thing up for the night. Going off what you guys said, I think the Coyotes this season would need to be around a 55 to 60 point team. I'll go around the area ballpark with you, Grandy. I'd say 55, 60 points, 20, 25 wins, maybe 28 the most would be about where you want. Montreal right now looks like they might want to see if they can get Shane Wright as well. So I don't know what's going on there. We might be the Chicago. Looks like they want Shane Wright as well. So, I mean, a couple teams are in play right now. I mean, like you said, guys, you both mentioned it in the group chat. I think the Canadians are going to get better sooner than later. I think it's a bad start. They're not settling in. I mean, you don't have your star goalie. That's a big part. And I think once they settle in a little bit more, they're going to be fine. And Chicago, I think, probably won't be a top team in the Central, but once Fleury gets going, I think they're going to be in in an okay spot. I think they could be like a third to last place team in the Central. Realistically, I mean, they could fall in that area. So I think, 55 points would probably be your best bet. 20, 25 wins, probably your best bet. Don't want to see only 20 wins in 82 games. I mean, nobody does. But, I mean, Red Wings fans, sorry, Tyler, did not want – I know you were upset with it. Red Wings fans didn't want to see it 2 years ago when that abysmal season. And we saw what happened with them not getting a Lafreniere. And, that's – as Coyotes fans, that's our biggest nightmare. We remember 2015, not getting McDavid. We remember not getting Matthews. I mean, the Coyotes in the draft lottery are like a bittersweet ex-couple. I mean, they don't get along with one another. They don't pair with one another. The Coyotes, the joke unrunning there is the Coyotes have been saved so many times in Arizona that they don't deserve the first-round pick because Bettman's is just keeping them in here in Arizona and all that. So do I think it happens? There's a good possibility. This is the year I think it's a good possibility. Do I want it to happen? Of course. We all three want it to happen. Chase wants it to happen. Pat wants it to happen. Coyotes fans out there want it to happen. Do I think it's do I think at the end of the day, if we don't get it, do I think we're screwed? No, I think there's a lot of guys. I know that we'll probably hit more on it, guys, in our podcast, but, Matthew Savoy, I think, is available, and Connor Geeky's available in the draft. I'm pretty sure coming up this year. Both guys play on the Winnipeg Ice, tremendous shots. Shane Wright's a great talent, but there's also guys in that top 5. If we could get a top 5 pick, that's a win, and all that for this team that's rebuilding. So, yeah, I would say they need to fall in that area if you want to have, we would call a successful season this year. But that is our show, guys. Thank you again so much. Sorry, Chase could not be here. Chase, you're here in spirit, my man. If you're listening, you're seeing this tomorrow, you're here in spirit. You're not gone. You're just here in spirit with us tonight, Chase. But Grandy and Tyler, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I just want a quick note for the Chirpin Yotes. We did not get out an episode this week. We had some audio problems with Tyler's end. We will make up for it next week. Also, don't forget, once again, to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us below on Twitter at Howlers THW. Make sure you give the guys a follow as well at Grandy009, at Chase Thomason, and at Legend of Tyler, and as well at the Chirpin Yotes Pod. Please, guys, check them out. We are available on the Chirpin Yotes Pod on Apple and Spotify. Once again, the Hockey Writers, the Howlers and Growlers, we are available on iHeartRadio and in Spotify. You guys know that. We have said it before, and you can also follow us on Twitter once again. Thank you as well to everyone at home who tuned in to join us. Pat, we are looking forward to having you back next weekend. I hope I did not disappoint you tonight. I hope I did not talk too fast either, because I have a feeling I talked a little too fast. This is probably why I'm not the host most nights. But we appreciate it. All of y'all at home, have a good night. you guys have a good night, and we will see you next time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
See you later.
See ya.